Okay, so welcome to Banksy and Freddy. This is like an update, World Economics Made Simple. And really, many people be wondering what's going on. And as we approach what they normally say, a tradition in the Jewish faith of tabernacles and Sukkot, but from the Operating by Faith by Action series, which is Banksy and Freddy operate under. I just want to give people an idea of what actually is going on around them. Now, in Birmingham, where I live, and Great Britain, basically, if you imagine the average amount of debt a problem gambler has before they start seeking help through the NHS and various other organisations, apparently it's in excess of £20,000 per client. Now, in recent news headlines, you will know that the council where I actually live and everything else has just been recently taken and declared bankrupt. So if you take into account, that would be 38,000 Banksies owing £20,000, which the council itself actually has been taken over in administration for. Now, if you take that into account against the American national debt, it's over 31,000 Birmingham City Councils of debt that the United States actually owe. And now we've got something called a time bomb in the derivatives. And let's go for the conservative estimate of 100 trillion of unaccountable derivatives. And if you imagine, as I said, it's 31,000 Birmingham City Councils that the United States actually owe at this stage. Remember, it'd be 38,000 Banksies who've got a gambling problem that the Birmingham City Council carries in debt. Well, it's 3 times the United States total debt of unaccounted derivatives that is just floating around in the system, which is a black swan event that nobody's got any control of and nobody's got any definitive figures on, that could go off at any time and destabilize the entire planet. Now, it may sound as if I'm being a pessimist, but the reality is, if the average American at the moment owes $100,000 each with the American debt, it means the 8 billion people on planet Earth under Freddy owes over $12,000 each. That's over nearly 8 billion people each owe $12,000 of debt. All it tells me that magic money under the current system has been going on for some time, and people somehow have been falling foul of the magicians, since the actual money doesn't actually exist. It's all fantasy land. And this is the reason why we're in the situation that we're in with these derivatives, and why America is able to do quantitative easing to build up the debt, and why Birmingham City Council probably got itself into a load of trouble, because it's not backed by gold. There's nothing solid behind the actual money system as we know it. So by operating by faith and by action, by avoiding any interest-bearing debts on your own, and also having physical gold and physical silver, you actually give yourself peace of mind as this whole mess sorts itself out. Probably might be, in my opinion, probably won't sort itself out before 2038, regardless of what the experts tell you, because no economist has got it right. But my instinctive and prophetic self tells me that it could be about 2038. And I know from the money pastor's own testimony, where he was made sort of bankrupt for £2,000 in the year 2000 at the Royal Courts of Justice. So that's 1/10 of the average gambler who was admitting to got a debt back then, and he's monitoring of the whole thing for the last 23 years. We just don't see any light at the end of the tunnel for those people who find themselves jammed up with student loans and remortgages, and mortgages probably hitting 7-8% and probably higher to break the stubborn inflation that's now seems to be embedding itself, plus the auto loans, car purchases, repossessions are going up, and the compound interest on credit cards, which are having an all-time record delinquency rate. So we are really in unprecedented, uncharted waters. So as I said, this is just something for you to really think about and talk about and prepare yourself for. And maybe this Christmas is going to be a bit different, because all this, I believe, will start coming to a head in January, February of 2024. So prepare yourself. And that's Banksy and Freddy's quick update of what's going on in the current economic climate.